Any volunteer to light a candle? Anyone else would like to light a candle? Come, we have two candles. Please sit down. Sadhu. Sadhu. Sadhu.
Let's do our chanting before the meditation. You can turn to page 5 of our chanting book. Page 5. Salutation to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The three refuges. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi buddham saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi buddham saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchami. Next page. 5 precepts. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami, adinādana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami, kāmesu miccāchārā veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami, musāvādā veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami, surameraya majja pamadatthāna veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. On the opposite page, let's read the affirmative vows. Being aware of the suffering caused by the destruction of life, I vow to cultivate compassion and learn ways to protect the lives of all living beings. Being aware of the suffering caused by exploitation, stealing, and oppression, I vow to respect the property of others and to practice generosity by sharing my time, energy, and material resources with those who are in great need. Being aware of the suffering caused by sexual misconduct, I vow to respect my commitments and those of others. I am determined not to engage in relations without love and long-term commitment. Being aware that words can create suffering, I vow to learn to stay truthful and develop peaceful, kind, and meaningful speech. Being aware of the suffering that intoxicated and agitated my caprices, I vow to develop mindfulness and indifference. Next page. Homage to the Buddha. Itipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vipuja charana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati Santa Deva Manusanam Buddho Bhagavati. Homage to the Dhamma. Swagato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehi pasiko openaiko Paducatang vivitabgo vinyuhiti. Homage to the Sangha. Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Ujupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyayapatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samiji patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidang chattari purisa yugani Anta purisa punggala Isa bhagavato savaka sangho Ahuniyo pauniyo Dakiniyo anjali karaniyo Anutterang punyak kitang lokasati Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Next page. Offerings. Offering of life. Ganesarang padintena Dipena tamedang sina Tilokadipang sambuddhang Pujayami tamunudang. Offering of incense. Gandha sambhara yuddhena Dupena sugandhina Pujaye pujaniyang tam Puja bhajana muttamam. Offering of flowers. Manne gandha gunopetang Etang kusuma santating Pujaya pada sarururi Pujemi buddhang kusumina nine Punyena mitena labami mokam Pumpan milayati akai dhammi कायो तथा याति विनाश भावम्. Offering of water. Adivasetu no bante paniyam parikampitam anukampam upadaye patigam hatuntem. Offering of drinks. Adivasetu no bante ilane paccayam imam anukampam upadaye patigam hatuntem. Worship of shrines. Vandami cetiyam sabbam sabbetani supatittitam saririka dhatu mahabodhim buddha rupam sakalam sata. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Next page. Wish of well-being. Ijjeva manjam namasse namaste manu nate nande punyami sandam Vipuram alattam tansanu bhavin hadante rayo. Reflections on the teachings of the Buddha in English. Mind is the forerunner of all experiences. Mind is chief. Mind made Ade. If one speaks or acts with the pure mind, suffering follows like the wind follows the foot of the ox. Mind is the forerunner of all experiences. Mind is chief. Mind made Ade. If one speaks or acts with the pure mind, happiness follows like one's own shadow that never leaves. Generosity, kind words, benevolent actions towards others, and equanimity towards all beings and all things. These bonds of sympathy function in the world like a linking in a moving cart. One by one, little by little, moment by moment, wise people should remove their impurities as the smith removes rust from silver. For one who develops boundless loving kindness, mental defilements are weakened and the freedom from clinging is seen. All conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path of purification. All conditioned things are unsatisfactory. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path of purification. All things are not self. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path to purification. Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Welcome everyone for our meditation. So let us make an effort together to allow our mind to settle down and also allow the deep capacity of loving kindness to surface and also to enhance the clarity of our mind. So this is a form of training that we are giving to our mind and also allowing its inner potentials to come up and be polished. So we are going to help each other to do that, and we are going to use this space, this gathering, everything to use that. So rejoice your decision to come here today. You could have been doing so many other things at this time, but you made a decision to come here. And it requires dedication, requires effort, and rejoice that effort you made for the wholesomeness, for the training of your mind. And this training you are going to get is going to benefit so many living beings. Whatever training that we are developing here is going to benefit so many living beings. So there are so many beneficiaries of this practice without our knowing. So rejoice that. With that rejoice, make a determination that I will make use of this gathering. I will make use of this wholesome space and this guidance, and I will engage in a committed practice. With that determination, listen to the sound of the bell. And let us do our chant, Namo Buddhaya, to help ourselves to settle in this space. Buddha Let us settle ourselves into this moment. We will begin to feel our body, how this body is sitting here. Let us go around our body and notice the areas where we have more prominent sensations right now. Wherever our body is touching, wherever our body is putting some pressure, wherever we feel our clothes in the body. So just notice those spots in the body that enable you to feel the body here. Being in the body is the best way to come to the present moment. Whatever sensations we are noticing, observing right now are available right at this moment. The more we catch, the more we notice those sensations in the body, the more we are in the present moment. With this awareness of the body, let us take this opportunity to give this body a chance to completely relax, to release even tight tensions. Since we are sitting in a very safe place, in a friendly gathering, we can let go of all the concerns and allow this body to fully relax. To allow each muscle of the body to open up, to loosen up. If you wish, you can use your breath to further relax your body. We can lengthen our breath, taking a very slow, long breath in and release that breath very slowly, allowing our shoulders to drop a little bit further, relaxing and releasing. Take another such long, slow breath in and releasing that air slowly, allowing our belly to drop to the front. And taking another such long, slow breath in and releasing that breath slowly, allowing the whole body to relax, to release, to loosen up. We can relax our facial muscles. We can simply drop our jaw inside the mouth, allowing our facial muscles to relax. And you can further invite a gentle smile to your face that will relax your facial muscles further. Feel the relaxation with that gentle smile. We can relax our chest, letting it to drop with the out breath. Relaxing our fingers, simply letting our fingers to be there with no grip, no tightness, allowing them to simply lie there, rest there. Let this body to sit here firmly, but with relaxed muscles. We will let this body to be as relaxed as it can. With this relaxed body, let us bring our whole attention to our mind. We will notice whatever thought, memories that are surfacing in our mind. Right now, we have enough mindfulness, enough awareness to watch our own mind, watch our own thoughts occurring right now. Simply notice whatever the thought, whatever the memory surfacing right now. Just like we see bubbles in a bowl of water, we simply notice what are the thoughts that are popping up right now. With our awareness, with our mindfulness, let us keep notice without developing any thought further. We will simply keep noticing them. Let us be curious. What would be the next bubble, the next thought? Various thoughts keep popping up, memories surfacing. This is how the ordinary mind. But we were able to watch it without being conditioned by them. We were able to watch them one after the other. With this awareness, let us now gently guide our mind to come to a wholesome place. This is a good time to gradually guide our mind to come to one of the most wholesome states, loving kindness. Loving kindness is a capacity that we all have. It is genuine goodwill towards all beings. It is a feeling of benevolence towards all beings. It is the friendliness, unconditional friendliness, or unbiased friendliness, a genuine wish of well-being. We all have this capacity in the deep in our mind. We don't want anyone to get into trouble. We don't wish anyone to get into troubles. But we have a willingness for everyone to be well. But it is buried. Let us now allow that wish of well-being to come to the surface of the mind. We will let this loving kindness manifest. Let us open our heart and allow that willingness, that goodwill, that friendliness come to the surface of the mind. We will open our heart just like when we see a little baby, just like we saw that baby right now, a while ago. Whenever we see a little baby, or whenever we see a puppy or kitten, or any other pet, whenever we hold them, how open is our heart? Let us open our heart just like that, generating this willingness, this goodwill towards all living beings. We will cultivate this wholesome wish in our mind. We will grow this loving kindness to be stronger and stronger. We will keep wishing well-being to everyone, including ourselves. We will wish all living beings and all living beings, and we are also part of the living beings. We will start with this living being sitting here and then expand that wish to everyone else. Feel your presence. Feel your being here. And look at yourself as one of the living beings. Genuinely extend that loving kindness, that goodwill to this one sitting here. Make a wish. May this person sitting here be well. Be strong. Be healthy. Be kind. Be mindful. And be peaceful. Just be kind to yourself. Be generous to yourself. And keep wishing all the well-being to this one sitting here. Be well. Be strong. Be healthy. Be kind. Be mindful. Be peaceful. Let's take a moment to penetrate this loving kindness to this body. Wishing all the well-being to this whole body, which has been helping us a lot to live this human life. All the organs and all the systems of this body have been helping us a lot. With deep appreciation, with deep gratitude, let us extend this loving kindness to all different parts of the body. May these lungs, feel your lungs when the air is moving to your lungs and giving you kind of cooling sensation. Feel it. May these lungs and whole respiratory system be well, be healthy, be healed. May this heart, cardiac muscles, the whole cardiovascular system be well, be healthy, be healed. May this digestive system, the whole digestive system, the stomach, liver, pancreas, intestine, colon, the whole digestive system be well, be healthy, be healed. May these kidneys, may these both kidneys and whole genitourinary system be well, be healthy, be healed. In this nervous system, the spinal cord, and each vertebra in the whole spinal cord, the brainstem, the middle brain, the frontal lobe, and this whole nervous system be well, be healthy, be healed. In this whole body, all the muscles, all the ligaments, all the tendons throughout the body, and all these joints, and all these bones, be well, be healthy, be healed. We will now expand this loving kindness beyond ourselves to everyone else. We will genuinely wish the same well-being to all other beings. Let us wish for everyone sitting here. May all people and all people living in this whole premises, may they all be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful. Let's expand this wish beyond this place to all other directions, Wishing everyone living in each direction to be well. May all people, all beings living in the direction that we are facing now, whatever the neighborhood, whatever the cities and states and countries that is in the direction that we are facing now, the front direction. May all people, all beings living in this direction right now, in our front, from here all the way to far away places, may they all be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful. Let us now direct our loving kindness to the direction of our right. Whoever the people and beings living in the direction of our right, everyone living in that neighborhood and faraway cities, states, and countries in that direction of our right, be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful. Let's expand this wish. Extend this wish the direction of our back. May all beings, all people living in the direction that we are in our back, whoever the people and beings living in the immediate neighborhood in our back direction, and all the cities, states, and countries in this direction, may all people, all beings living in this direction be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful. May all people, all beings living in the direction of our left, whoever the living beings living in this direction right now, may all people, all beings living in the immediate neighborhood in our left direction, and all the cities, states, and countries in this direction, may all of them be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful. May all living beings living in every direction, above, below, all across, may all living beings, whatever life forms there may be, visible, invisible, near and far, and may each and every living organism, without exception, be well, be well, be well, be peaceful, peaceful, peaceful. Expand this loving kindness to every direction, embracing all beings with this genuine wish of well-being, excluding none, and expanding this loving kindness to every direction, to everyone. Rejoice. This limitless love, this unbounded loving kindness that is ready to embrace everyone with this wish. Rejoice, this wholesome state of the mind, this unbound loving kindness pervade into every direction. Just rejoice, this wholesome state of the mind. Please rejoice. Let us now gently bring our whole attention to our breath, maintaining this expansive loving kindness, this unbound loving kindness. Just we will let this mind to settle further and further. We're experiencing a calmness, an inner peace right now. We will now allow this peace to deepen. We will simply bring our whole attention to our breath. And we keep noticing the sensation of the breath when it is flowing through our nostrils, going behind our throat and filling the lungs. We will notice its journey back, coming through the nostrils and moving away. Bring your whole attention to this very natural process happening right now. Notice the outer rings of your nostrils. Notice the inner walls of your nostrils. Notice the sensation around your throat and even in your chest and the lungs. Closely watch the in-breath and the out-breath. Notice how this breath is changing the body. We will keep noticing this very process happening right now and rest our mind on this very experience of breathing. Every breath is a new breath. Every breath has a lot to notice. For next few minutes, we will keep our focused attention on our breath. We will simply rest with the breath. Mindfully breathe in, mindfully breathe out. Keep coming back to your breath. No matter how many times you happen to have thoughts, memories, that's okay. Just notice them, acknowledge them, and drop them and come back to the breath. Whatever the thoughts, memories come into our mind are not necessarily real. They already has happened, or they are simply projections and imaginations of our mind. But the breath is real. So let us keep coming back to the breath again and again, and allow our mind to go into a deeper peace. Dukkha patache nidukkha bhayapattache nibbaya sukapattache nisukha hontu sabbepi paninu. May all those who are suffering be free from suffering. May all those who are grieving be free from grief. May all those who are in fear be free from fear. May all beings be well and happy. Gently come out of your meditation and gently put your palms together and place them against your chest. Let's take a moment to feel grateful for this opportunity for a peaceful meditation and healing sessions in our life. Let us feel grateful to all great teachers in the past who passed this wisdom from generation to generation. Let us feel grateful to anyone who helped your meditation tonight, anyone who arranged this place for us to meditate tonight. Let us feel grateful even to these non-living things which supported our meditation, including this cushion, this chair, this bell, this fan, and everything. And even this device that helped you to connect to this meditation from home. With deep gratitude, let us say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, I hope that you all visited a wholesome place in your mind. Right? Yeah. So we are in the season called Vasana season, or Vasana period, or rainy, or to go rainy retreat. From July full moon to October full moon, these 3 months is a special period in which we dedicate more, we do some extra practice during this period for spiritual growth. So therefore, we prepared that chanting card that we gave it to you, that you can daily do that chanting. Those who haven't received it, if you're interested in doing a daily chant, English chant, we have a chanting card that we can give you. You can do it every morning. So I'm so glad that Jeffrey made this nice stand that he's thinking. You didn't make it, you plan. So your plan was to keep it in the table and while you're having.
Well, the coffee maker's running.
Okay.
Perfect angle.
Yes.
on the countertop.
On the top, and you place it like this, and then you can, while it is running, you can read this and make your resolution, make your aspiration.
You better show it to our friends here.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the chanting card that we distributed. I think we also posted some of the cards. If you really want one, let us know, and just use the chat area and then say I want it and write your address. We will post it to you. This is a nice stand. You can keep it on the table so you'll see it. You will not miss it, right? I mean, thank you, Jeffrey. So this chanting card is about noble eightfold path that we make resolution every morning to follow this path and inspire ourselves to walk that path. So therefore, in our discussion session, we decided we will focus on a noble eightfold path, and then so we have this chanting these papers, and I'm really grateful for preparing this with very nice laminating, so everyone can use it. Yeah, can distribute. So okay, John can take one each. Oh, anyway. This is the map, the whole map. So in the chanting card, the first resolution, the first resolution we are making is, may I continue to clarify and deepen my understanding of the results of my volitional actions and the Four Noble Truths. So we make a resolution, may I continue to clarify and deepen my understanding. That's the first thing, what you call the right understanding, a right view. That's the first item in the Noble Eightfold Path. And deepen my right understanding of two things. One is deepen my understanding on the results of my volitional actions, result of my action, and the second one is the Four Noble Truths. And so we covered last week, the first part, right? And we are going to cover the second part today. And so basically last week, what we discuss is that we develop this understanding that how our life, or our life is largely conditioned by our actions, both past actions and present actions. Our life is conditioned by our actions, our willful actions, and that's the main message. And that's the kind of understanding we need to have. So that shows that our life is not governed by some predetermined principle. It's not kind of, it doesn't have a kind of predestined kind of, nature. And our life it's not controlled or governed by some external force. But, it's our volitional actions play a bigger role in deciding the condition of our life. But that doesn't mean that the only thing that will condition or decide the status of our life is our volitional actions. There are so many other natural processes, but volitional actions play a very important part in it. Of course, natural forces, the sun, the moon, the earth, and also biological organisms, the trees, and even human body is a biological organism. So those things have their own patterns, the biological patterns, and then physical, objects are behaving in a particular way. So all these things are having their own patterns, and in the middle, our actions, our decisions, our volitional actions play a very important role in deciding deciding our life. So what you call karma, right? So having that deep understanding that our actions, our life is largely, that's why I use the term largely, largely conditioned by our actions, both past and the present. So that shows that, so it also gives us a kind of the kind of power in a way. Of course, it's already conditioned by what we have done, and conditioning of what we are doing right now. So it gives you kind of power that we are like the captain of the ship. Okay. So but remember, when you are the captain of the ship, that doesn't mean that everything that decide the journey of the ship is you. There is a wind, there are a current of water, so many things operating there. But as the captain, you can decide, you make decisions at every point. And based on your decisions, based on your actions, you will sail this ship. So there are conditions that will restrict, that will influence your whole journey. But this whole idea that our actions play a very important part in our life, that shows that we are the captain of the ship. But don't think that you are the sole controller. But we play a very important part in it. Therefore, utilizing all these conditions, we can somehow direct this whole thing to the destination we want to go. So, whenever people think about karma, they have this idea of destiny, this idea of predetermination, which is very misunderstanding of this. That's why even I don't use the term karma here. Just understand that our life is largely governed by our willful actions, both past, which are already done and we cannot control. We are receiving the results of that, but we haven't finished our ability to act. Ability to choose. We are still doing it. We are still in the journey, so we can make new actions, new decisions, and then change this whole journey, just like we are moving a ship. Yes, Nancy?
When you say the past,
Hmm?
how much of it, when you say
Past.
past,
Yes.
how much of
Oh, that's a good question.
does it have to do with past life?
Including past lives.
So what kind of, would one kind of thing, because of past life, be like?
Just human birth, for example.
Okay, but
The
like,
human birth.
I'm thinking of like, if you have physical problems that you were born with.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah. So go ahead. Yeah.
Or, that you inherit.
Mm.
So would that be part of your karma from past life?
I think it's a part, but because when we attach to a human form, we are conditioned by whatever that physical form is destined, the nature of that physical form. So it's based on our genetic format. If we are attached to our parents, and if we attach that embryo, and whatever that embryo is going through, you have to go through it. So it's partly from our genetic makeup. But even within the genetic makeup, there are certain things that will surface, there are certain things that will be hidden. And that will be set by the past actions. But it's also partly due to genetic, yeah.
So also like, is why I'm here interested in Buddhism a past life thing?
Some inclinations, yeah. Even like when we feel attracted to certain people, when you feel attracted to certain places, than others, maybe very reason that you feel attracted, somehow maybe related to your previous conditionings. Maybe in childhood, maybe even before that.
So is there a way to know?
Yes. Yes.
Meditate a lot.
Yes. Okay. So yeah. Second, yeah. I think today actually I didn't start today's topic. I just reviewed, what we discussed last week. I quickly want to go to today's topic. Yeah. Mark, do you have any comment? Brief one.
I think it's our action is a reaction to the environment. It's not action just initiated. As you say, the ship, there's wind, there's wave, and if the electricity go out in here, we have to light a candle, and if it is hot, we are on the air condition. So our action is a reaction to the environment.
That's a good point. Yeah, but definitely, that's a difference between the humans and the natural organisms. The reason that we produce karma, we produce some traces of actions, that even in that situation, we choose the reaction. 10 people will react the same situation 10 different ways. Yes, we are reacting, but in that whole reaction, we are choosing, we are selecting. So that's where the volition comes, and that creates a pattern, that produces a pattern that leaves a trace in our consciousness that will condition us to act the same way in our next moment too.
So that's what the lady said about the past. It
influences, but that doesn't mean that it will completely control it. You may feel like doing it, but still you have a power to follow it or to change it to do a different thing. That's the volition. In that very choice, you produce the pattern and the karma.
And the choice would be influenced by your education, religion,
many things.
History,
many things. And even that very moment, mindfulness, that very moment we are making that choice. Yeah. So our reactions are not always automatic. Of course, we are governed by so much of our previous patterns, but still we have a room to introduce some changes if you want.
Okay, is it possible that those non-volitional actions also influence karma in the sense of a deeply rooted habit?
Yeah, I think they are. I think that those will be like results, results of a previous volitional actions.
I see.
And now they are repeating. But if you add more volition to it, it will produce more of that. So those will be like driving. Initially you have to put a lot of volition to learn to drive. And once you do it, it becomes automatic, right? So it's a result of a previous volitional action. Yes. Okay. The second part of right understanding, or the right understanding, is to develop this close understanding how suffering arises in our mind. And when you realize that, and also understand, at least theoretically, how that suffering can be ended. So what we call the Four Noble Truths, right? So in simple language, to understand how suffering arises, if any moment, if you experience suffering, but suffering in a deeper sense, not simply the physical pain, but in a sense of unsatisfactoriness and dissatisfaction, what you call dukkha, how the dukkha arises in our mind and how it can be reversed. So having this understanding, having this map, understanding of the mechanism of dukkha, mechanism of dissatisfaction, mechanism of suffering, is the other more central part of the right understanding. So usually whenever we are going through, the first noble truth that Buddha discovered is that everyone, all living beings, have this underlying have this. Most frequently, we experience a common state in our mind, which is we are not fully okay with whatever situation. We are not fully okay with. We are not fully contented with. We are somehow dissatisfied.
Everyone has a problem that should be solved.
Yes. Everyone. Yes, man. This is a very common, deep-rooted problem that we are somehow not completely okay. Yeah. It could be not only the painful situation, even in a pleasurable situation, even in a pleasant situation. Maybe initially we may have kind of elation, but soon after we have this state that we are somehow not happy, right? And good moment we think about the experience you had when you bought your first car. Remember that? The old second-hand car that you bought, how happy you were, right? For how many weeks? Maybe a week or two, you were so elated, right? And then soon after, we see that reducing of that elation, and come to that state that, oh, this is not quite okay. that's one example.
Or
But
we get the first bill for the, repairs.
yeah.
What was I thinking?
Yeah. Anyway, so there are many manifestations of this, this suffering, this dissatisfaction. There are prominent manifestations. When we lost our loved ones, when we get ourselves sick, and when we lost things, when we have to separate from our loved ones, or when we have to be with, the difficult ones, and those are Buddha has given those examples as like a prominent, when the situations that our dissatisfaction, our suffering, and our unhappiness is prominent, but there are also a very subtle form of unhappiness. So usually, this is very common. Everyone is going through this. So usually people will try to understand that the life is like this. It's maybe a curse from someone. We think that maybe this is caused by someone else. Some what happened in the past, in the beginning of the history, or maybe something like understanding this whole thing as something caused by others, or maybe external power. That's one understanding. Buddha say that even that is also not the very correct understanding. Because we play an important role in this, but to say that sayang katan, right, Bhante? This whole thing is completely not a correct understanding. And also, thinking that this whole dissatisfaction or unhappiness is created by someone else, either invisible force, or maybe society, maybe political system, whatever, is also not the correct understanding. And also the third wrong view also, that is thinking that this dissatisfaction is caused by chance, like accidental. There's no order to this. It just happened. Like no order, very accidental, chaotic situation, like disorder. So these are misunderstanding how people try to understand. But the correct understanding would be, this is a causal product. Whatever dissatisfaction that we may experience in our life, or we have experienced, or we are going through, we will be experiencing, is actually result of meeting of causes and conditions. There's a particular pattern to it. And it's not caused by someone else completely. It's not caused by ourselves completely. But there are causes and conditions that belong to both parties. And when these things come together, we experience this. So it is because of this dissatisfaction, although it's kind of common underlying experience that we are all going through, but it is not something kind of predestined. It's a causal product. It's something that is produced due to coming together of causes and conditions. It's not the kind of given. It's not kind of like a permanent situation. It's not like destiny. It's just produced things as a result of coming together of causes and conditions. And that is why it can be overcome. So what are these causes and conditions? And there's a main psychological cause. That is what the Buddha was interested in. Of course, the nature of the world, the natural forces and everything has their own pattern, and the underlying law of everything is impermanence. And everything to exist, it has to change. Otherwise, it is dead. So if anything is existing, means that they are changing. So that's the underlying, truth of everything's impermanence. So that could be, one condition. But impermanence simply does not produce dissatisfaction. But the one important psychological factor is what we call tanha, or literal translation would be thirst. Thirst, which we usually translate as craving. The craving means like expecting the otherwise. Craving. So that's the kind of psychological cause that, as an individual, we add to this whole situation. And so if you remove at least one condition, the situation will be different. So in this mechanism of suffering, these causes and conditions coming together, very important key condition is what we call thirst or craving. There are three manifestations of this craving. We can observe our own mind, how we, any moment of dissatisfaction, any moment of unhappiness, you can see those. One of these cravings are at work. One is called craving for sensual gratification. Craving for sensual gratification means that's craving for, wanting our senses to be, wanting some more pleasure, more pleasure to our senses. And the second one is craving for cherishing the self, craving for maintenance of an identity of a self. You can call it ego, like wanting, like a desire, craving for cherishing the self, and want to protect this, want to defend this. And then also craving for harming the self. Do you believe that we have a craving to harm the self? Actually, not only harm, to destroy self. That's more like a perverted manifestation of craving, called vibhavata, more like anger. So these are there are many manifestations of this craving, this thirst, like yearning, and this wanting otherwise. Thirst for more sensual gratifications, or thirst for cherishing the self, or like maintaining a special self-identity or ego, and also thirst for destroying or harming the self. And these are, manifestation, but there can be more subtle, variation of this manifestation. So the suffering is produced. We experience this unhappiness, dissatisfaction due to many causes and conditions, but the key psychological cause is this, this craving, which means we expect the otherwise, wanting the otherwise, wanting, cherishing of the self. And it's normal, it's natural. It's like nothing wrong, nothing evil about it, but it's just painful. It's not helpful, and it's like it is like, we this is the part that we add, and that makes the whole thing a experience of unhappiness. It could be a difficult situation, it could be a physically painful situation, it could be unpleasant situation, but it will not become suffering, it will become unhappiness until we add this craving part. Yes.
Where does attachment?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what.
Yeah.
The craving is the.
Craving. The more extreme form of craving will be attachment.
Okay.
First you decide, and then you want to own it. Like the next step is the attachment.
Wanting and being attached to wanting.
Wanting it and making it one's own. Attachment is, extreme form. So you can call it attachment too, Attachment to sensual pleasure, attachment to one's self-identity, and attachment to the idea of destroying oneself or harming oneself. So because, and these attachment also, this form of craving that occurring in us also, it's a product. It's also a causal product. It's also occurring in us, and there's a whole description how craving arises in our human mind. It's also not predestined. It's also not like a given. It's also a causal product. But the main thing is the ignorance, which means the blindness to the product, blindness to the very process of experience that we are having. Because the reason that we crave for something, that we believe that the things exist as we perceive them. The craving for cherishing the self is the belief that there is an independent self separate from the rest of the world. Even our craving to harm self is also based on the belief that there's a self to destroy, to harm, which are based on ignorance. But that is how we see the world. It's like, when like when you see, you know, there are, if someone put a stick to a glass, you see a bend in that stick, right?
Glass of water.
Glass of water.
Reflection, kind of like, it's like
Refraction.
your refraction.
Refraction.
Yeah.
That's what causes the
Refraction.
distortion in
Yeah.
vision.
Vision, yeah. That is how you see it, right? Exactly. So when we experience the world, that is how we see it. We tend to believe that whatever we see, smell, taste, exists as we see them. But there can be other animals and other way of seeing this. You know, whatever I'm seeing right now is one perspective of this whole thing, but that doesn't mean that the thing exists as I perceive them. And once you believe that, and then you decide for it, thinking that that exists outside of me as I perceive it, and then we want it more, and we develop craving on that. But if you realize that actually what I'm seeing is actually a perspective, how I see through my senses, it's not necessarily how the world, whatever object I'm seeing is not really there as it is, but this is how I perceive it. So I'm actually attaching to my perception of the object, not really the object itself, even to the people and person. When we have that kind of examining ourselves, our craving will be reduced. Our craving is based on that very basic misunderstanding, very basic blindness to see things as they are.
So is that kind of like we can only hear certain sounds, but like dogs can hear sounds we can't hear.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we don't get the whole picture.
Yeah, but that's not the way we attach things, right? And even thinking that whatever sounds that we listen, we think that sound, it was there already, and I'm simply receiving it. But the truth is actually the sound is produced in that very process of experience. There are no sounds, so to speak. There can be waves.
Are there sounds in the forest if no one's there to hear it?
I mean, so can we call them sounds?
Exactly.
Yeah. So whatever. So this craving that we are experiencing is based on another very basic blindness or misunderstanding, what we call avidya or ignorance. But anyway, I mean, simply have this understanding that whatever dissatisfaction, unhappiness that we are going through is a causal product, and is common, but it's a causal product. It's produced by these different forms of craving or attachment, and therefore it can be overcome. We may not be able to overcome at once, but at least to have this understanding. And then, so the first truth is the acknowledging of the existence of this fact. The dissatisfaction, unhappiness is common. It's common to everyone, and I'm going through, many units going through. And it's not a destiny, it's not a predestined, it's a causal product. It's mainly produced by different forms of craving and attachment. And of course, there are other conditions that support it. And the third truth is actually, because it's a causal product, there's a way out. If you remove the cause, at least one cause, one condition, it will be a whole different experience. And actually, the third truth is the enlightenment or nibbana or nirvana, which means the complete reduction, complete removal of craving. And at least theoretically, if we can completely remove all forms of craving, there will be no more need. Right? So that will be the complete peace. But to go there, you have to remove all these cravings, all these misunderstandings, everything. So for that, you need a path, you need a training, you need a gradual transforming the way you see the world, the way you react to the world. You have to work against our own evolution to go there. It requires a training, because our brain is wired to see the world this way, and we have been also training ourselves or conditioning ourselves to see this way. So it's a whole complete transformation of personality. It requires a gradual training, and that's training that there's a possibility of having complete peace, or a complete absence of that dissatisfaction and happiness. That is the third truth, the enlightenment, nirvana and nibbana. But in order to experience that, we need to have a training, gradual training, more like a training of unlearning, deconditioning ourselves. And that training is called the Noble Eightfold Path that we are learning. So the two aspects to right understanding. First is our life is largely governed by our actions, willful actions, both past and the present. And then whatever unhappiness, dissatisfaction that we're experiencing, the causal product, one important cause is our different forms of craving. Therefore, it can be overcome. That's a path to overcome it. At least have a theoretical understanding of it. Having a map of our path is right understanding. So we start this practice with basic understanding, having the map, having the basic, orientation, direction to our life. And that is right understanding. So when you recite, may I continue to clarify and deepen my understanding of the results of my volitional actions and the Four Noble Truths. That's what you mean. Okay. Let us continue to reflect. Any moment of suffering is a moment of learning. Any moment of unhappiness is a moment of learning, because we can examine it, we can observe it. Or where is my attachment here? Where is the craving here? How can I adjust it? Not blaming oneself. Okay, it's another extreme. It's not really putting all the burden on oneself. Just adjusting these causes and conditions. So there can be situations that are more prone to produce unhappiness. But there's always a play that we play. That's the part that we want to somehow change and remove. That doesn't mean that life will be always full of elations, full of what you call gratification. It's just more unshaken kind of peace and acceptance in the mind. We go through all these pains, we go through all these changes, but somehow maintaining a kind of space in our mind. But it's a gradual path. Okay, right? Let us move to the other part of the program with that right understanding. So by coming to this practice today, we have generated so much good karma, so much goodness, and we know that this is also an action that's going to shape our life. And so we have generated so much good karma, so much merits, we call them. And now it is time to share this merits with everyone else. We can turn to page number 14 and together chant to share these merits. First of all, let us share these merits with our departed family members, friends, relatives, and teachers. Thinking about them with gratitude, let us dedicate this goodness, this good merits to all of them. May they rejoice in these merits. May they be well, happy, and peaceful wherever they may be. Idang me ñātinang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idang me ñātinang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idang me ñātinang hotu Sukhita hontu ñātayo. Let us also share these merits with all other living beings. If there's any living being who would like to share this merit, may he or she do so. May all living beings share our merits. May all living beings be well, happy, and peaceful. Ittavata ca amhihi sambadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu Sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Wish for the well-being of the world in English. May the weather be pleasing. May the people prosper in their lives. May there be peace and happiness in the world. May the rulers be righteous. May all those who are suffering be free from suffering. May all those who are in fear be free from fear. May all those who are in grief be free from grief. May all beings be well and happy. Aspiration. May this wholesome act quicken the liberation of my mind from mental defilements. By virtue of the wholesome act, may I never follow the unwise people. May I associate with good people until I attain Nibbana, purification. If by body, spiritual, mind I have callously done wrong, I acknowledge them all in front of the Tathagata of great wisdom and determine to be hateful. So now it is the blessing service. We are going to chant the Loving Kindness Sutra. And this particular sutra was given by the Buddha with great compassion for all living beings. We are now going to chant this sutra for you, wishing you all good health, peace and happiness, and strength and courage to overcome difficulties and challenges in your life. May you all receive these blessings. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Karaniya matta kusalena yang tang sang tang padang abhisamijja sakko joche sujoche suacho chasam samudvanati mani samtosnse koche subaroche ampaginchoche sallahukavunti santrindriyoche nipagoche ampagambo kulesu ananuginto nacha kundam samachari kinchena vinyo pare upavadeyo sukino vake mino vantu sabbe satta bhavantu sukitanta eke cipan bhutanti tasavata varava anavasesa digavaye mahantava majjimaraskanukatula dittava evalandritta yeche dure vasanti avidure bhutava sambhavesi sabbe satta bhavantu sukitantana paro parang nikumbe nati manyeta kanta chinam kanche vyarosana patiga samya Nanyamanya dukkhamicceya matayataniyan punta ayusaika punta manurakke vampi sabba bhutesu manasam bhavaye aparimanam Mettang ca sambhalokasming manasang bhavaye aparimanang uddhang adoca tiriyang ca asangvadang avirang asapatang tittang charang nisingno vasayano Yavatasam vigada mindo etam satim aditya brahma mitam viharam idamaho ditting cha anupagam silva dasanina sangpanno kamesu vinayagedam nahi jatu gambaseyam punareti tena sanca vajjena sotti te hotu sambadaye tena sanca vajjena Sambharogo vinasansatu etena sanca vajjena hotu te jaya mangalam Sabbitiyo vivajjantu sambharogo vinasansatu mate bhavantantarayo Sukhe digayuko bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sada sotti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata sabba dhammanubhavena sada sotti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata sabba sanghanubhavena sada sotti bhavantu Let us spend a moment of reflection. Take a moment to reflect to your past few days and recall to your mind whatever kind deed that you were able to do during last few days. Some kindness that you were able to express to someone, some help that you were able to do to someone. Just recall a kind deed that you were able to do. Let us rejoice in this good deed, in this kind deed. On this day or in the past, if I have done kind deeds to other beings with my body, speech, or mind, whether great or little, here before the Buddha, I call to mind those kind deeds and let my heart rejoice. I rejoice in those kind deeds, appreciating the opportunity to be helpful to others. I rejoice in those kind deeds, wishing more opportunities to practice compassion. I rejoice in those kind deeds, resolving not to compare myself with others. I rejoice in those kind deeds, and gladly share this joy with all beings everywhere. May my kind deeds relieve the burdens of other beings. May my kind deeds shield me from all dangers and pain. May my kind deeds and merits that come from them help me in free my heart. Let's now recall to our mind whatever kindness and help you receive from others. Think about your past few days and think about the kindness and help or care that you may have received from others. Someone were there to share, to listen to you, or someone really did help you. Just think about such a thing, or even you heard about a kind deed of someone else. Let us rejoice the goodness of others. On this day, or in the past, if I have seen or heard of the kind deeds done by others, with their body, speech, or mind, whether great or little, here before the Buddha, I call to mind those kind deeds, and let my heart rejoice. I rejoice in the goodness of others, being always ready to praise kind people and follow their example. I rejoice in the goodness of others, appreciating that there are many good-hearted people in the world. I rejoice in the goodness of others, expressing gratitude for any kindness done. May the kind deeds of others bring safety and happiness to many living beings. May the kind deeds of others foster gratitude and fellowship among many living beings. May the kind deeds of others nurture goodness in me and many living beings. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you those who joined our YouTube, and we really appreciate your commitment. It's not conducive, not that easy to meditate from home, but we really appreciate your participation. I look forward to see you again. And thank you very much. And thank you all also coming here. And if you like to have a blessing string,